What's going on? What's going on, guys? Jay the Black here. Salute to everybody that's tuning in. Now, I did not post on this video. I didn't post on this topic yesterday because I was on a little bit of a vacation. You know what I'm saying? I took the day off to go and be on a beach. Well, I'm back in the office and now I can speak about this Ryan Clark thing. I actually put out a tweet and I mentioned how, didn't Ryan Clark just re-up his deal? Because he was trying to do some, I would say, public negotiation, right? But I thought that he had hammered out a new deal or at least got a raise. Well, it looks like that may have cost him because they not only did they fire Ryan Clark, they fired him during his segment on their network. Like he was in the middle of this segment and they let him know that he was being fired, and I don't think he finished it out. Now listen, Ryan Clark has become a bit of a polarizing guy at ESPN. There are times when Ryan Clark can be very engaging as an analyst, and there are times where he can be annoying. And there are people who bring up the fact that he's a race baiter. There are things that Ryan Clark has said that I disagree with, and I do believe that he's pandering. That's just what that's who he is, especially on television. So hopefully this pivot, no pun intended, that he is making in his career can be helpful. But I will say this though, he's going to miss this job in the sense of him being on television, being a part of ESPN, right? And not having that platform anymore. Now he does have his own platform of the Pivot podcast that he can put his 100% all into now. He can go all in on. I think they just had an event with Fanatics that seemingly went well. And what's interesting was that, Ryan Clark actually posted something on his Instagram that was very ominous. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get to it here. Now, this post was on his Instagram, right? This was maybe a couple of days ago. They had the Fanatics event that again looked like it went well, right? And he put up this post. He has a bunch of different pictures, but in this post here, it says, "You'd let the world tell it nobody rocks with you outside until you're actually outside. What makes life beautiful is just as much about the who as the what. Saturday at Fanatics Fest, I had a day. World championship panels, world-class entertainers, and athletes I've admired for years. And moving forward, I'm only listening to the love because inside that building, the hate was real quiet." Now, this was a couple of days before he got fired. So let's get into this because we got some things to say about this and to address. ESPN is a failing network. They invested in, not only did they invest in the ESPN Plus, but they also bought the NFL Network. And that's why you're seeing, and by the way, there are other people being fired. They just got rid of one of their lead guys on baseball, Carl Ravitch. He was also part of their basketball coverage for a number of years. He was at the network for 33 years. So he's somebody they're definitely going to have to really work hard to replace. But again, this is corporate America. This is a business. ESPN is making all these investments, and I don't know if they're getting the returns. That's why they're firing these people. So let's get into this article. ESPN has reportedly let NFL analyst Ryan Clark go, and the timing was pretty shocking. According to The Athletic's Andrew Marchand, Clark was informed of the decision during an appearance on Monday's episode of NFL Live. He did not finish the show. I wouldn't either. ESPN and the NFL Network are expected to have a round of layoffs beginning on Tuesday because ESPN bought the NFL Network, so I guess both are going to have layoffs. It's just crazy, right? And why would the NFL need to sell to ESPN? But from what I understand, the NFL is going to get a 10% stake in ESPN. Why would you invest in ESPN in 2026? I don't know. And Clark was informed of his fate early for some reason. They probably had been trying to call him. Maybe they was trying to call him earlier. He wasn't answering his phone. Maybe that's what it was. Clark, who had been at ESPN for over a decade, was making more than $2 million, according to Marchand. He was expected to have a big role in the network's coverage of the Super Bowl next year, when it is set to broadcast the game for the first time. I'll be interested to see how that broadcast goes. Marchand had more on the potential reasons behind Clark's exit. ESPN executives soured on Clark because of his issue with his words, a dynamic that peaked with an on and off-air incident this past season involving colleague Peter Schrager. That's because they're high on him. They like Peter. Peter was at the NFL Network, right? And they're really high on him. They're really high on him. And I think that Ryan Clark probably thought for some reason that he had Stephen A. Smith immunity, that he can just go at people, right? And that's just not the case anymore. This is a different landscape. You know, business is business. And if they don't feel like you're bringing anything to the business and they feel like you're a liability, they're going to get rid of you. On Get Up last September, Schrager defended Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb's performance in an opening night loss. Clark said, "That's the non-player in you." Schrager asked Clark not to belittle him and mentioned there are other perspectives, to which Clark responded, "Peter, what I need for you to do is to not get mad and let me finish." Much later that day, Clark tweeted out an apology saying, "Today I had an interaction with my colleague Schrager, both on and off the air, that I regret." The Schrager incident garnered lots of headlines and served as a major distraction for ESPN just as the NFL season was beginning. The full on-air interaction is here. I'm not going to play it, but again, that's because Ryan Clark was under this assumption that he was like, I guess the Stephen A. Smith of their NFL coverage, and that he can say crazy things and get away with it. But even Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith used to go at people. I remember years ago when he went after Matt Light. I remember Matt Light, he had just retired, and they had him on First Take. I think after that situation, you never saw Matt Light on that set ever again. Right. Now, Stephen A. Smith has toned that down from what I've seen. I don't watch much of First Take as of recently, but he's cooled off on doing those things. But when you're Ryan Clark and you believe that you have more, I don't say power, but you have more rope, right? You really don't. And I think Ryan, he's looking at Schrager like a guy that doesn't belong at the table. But bro, there's a lot of non-football people who speak on football at that network. But maybe Ryan just don't like them. And when you don't like somebody, it's going to manifest. And that's what happened. And that wasn't the only eyebrow-raising moment during Clark's time at ESPN. Before signing a new deal with the network back in 2024, the former pro took to social media to announce his contract had ended. 3 years ago, I signed an extension with ESPN. I was so grateful for more time. I was excited to prove I was worth more. I felt I deserved more. We disagreed, and that's okay. I set out on a mission to leave no doubt, end all conversations about who I was in this business. I knew it would take effort. I knew that the effort didn't promise results, but I dug in. Here we are now. The season is over. The deal is up. Time to make a decision. Either way it goes, the mission don't change. I want to be the best doing it. Everyone should. I'm more motivated today than ever. I'm still the same undrafted free agent. Though Clark eventually got a new deal, it was a very public negotiation, which I'm pretty sure ESPN liked or didn't. The 46-year-old played 13 NFL seasons as a safety, but was most notable for his 8-year tenure with the Steelers. He helped lead the team to a win at a Super Bowl and was a Pro Bowler in 2011. After retiring as a Steeler in February 2015, he embarked on a broadcasting career. Clark was hired by ESPN as an NFL analyst in March of 2015 and became a regular on NFL Live Get Up and First Take. In 2022, he launched a Pivot podcast along with co-hosts Fred Taylor and Channing Crowder. The show focuses on sports, lifestyle, and issues that impact athletes off the field. Well, he's a free agent now. I'll be interested to see, because it ain't a lot of networks that are hiring like that because of all the different mergers and everything. So I'd be interested to see if he gets another TV job. I don't know if he gets another TV job, but Ryan Clark has become, again, very polarizing in what he says. But the good thing about this, for Ryan Clark's sake, is that he has his own platform. And he can say whatever he wants now, right? And the thing is with ESPN, it's funny how he was the first person to go up on the chopping block out of everybody, right? And it's funny because he loses his job, but Mina Kimes doesn't. Like, Mina Kimes is making like $2 million. And it looks like she just sits at home and does a show from there. I don't know what her ratings are. Maybe she does good ratings, but she's gotten often criticized for her horrible takes. But I think that Ryan was much worse in the sense of they're trying to get away from what people consider wokeness, and he leans into it with his takes. And maybe there are things also going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Maybe him and Peter are still at odds with each other, or maybe there's still some issues there. Maybe the tension isn't gone, right? So again, for Ryan Clark's sake, he has his own platform. I don't know if he's going to get another TV job at this point. I just think that some people may find him to be too polarizing for them. So let me know in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Like if you don't share it, follow me on all my social media platforms. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Click notification bell, and I'll see y'all next one.